you pull on that jersey, you represent yourself and your teammates. And a name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head.
And here we go.
And it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that.
The playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs to the 50. He runs to the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're chasing him. They're not going to get him. Waving his arms. Bare-chested. Somebody stop that man.
Welcome to an edition of NETMA, or another program, as we all like to say. Hello, I'm your host, Tyler Falk. Glad to be back. You might notice a few things different about today's show, and I'm taking it back a little bit, and it's more of a forced regression, and there's a lot to get to, right? I'm just spewing words right now. Let's break it down. Hi, NETMA's still here. I'm still here. I'm still wearing a funny cap, and Buck is annoying. Buck is very annoying. Anywho, okay, let's get to the nitty gritty of a lot of this is going to be housekeeping. Don't worry, we'll talk SFL here in just a moment. Okay, but let's talk what the show is going to look like from here on out and go from there. So, as you can see, there's no ticker, there's no ticker, there's no timer. Why? Because the big reason is that NETMA's still here, NETMA's still going to exist. I'm just not going to be able to do long shows. Few reasons for that. Last couple of weeks have really showed me just an in-depth look of what my true roles and responsibilities are for life, for work especially. Okay, a lot of you noticed that I've been off and on the last couple of weeks because I've been busy with work. There are some days where I'm able to come in and do a lot of prep work. There's a lot of days that I've been able to come in and be ready for a show. Last month and a half, I have not been able to prepare like I want to, like you guys deserve. To me, it hurts that I have to take a lot of this stuff out, to take a lot of the stuff back. Again, and this is why the show is entitled At the Crossroads, is because last couple of times I stopped this show entirely was because of a crossroad. I would come to a mental barrier in how I produced the show, how I feel I was producing the show, and would say, you know what, I'm not producing a good enough show. I'm not prepared to produce a quality show, or a show that I feel is of quality for you guys. And so I scrapped the show. Happened twice already. We already know what happened with the twice. Here's the difference this time around. I looked at what I'm doing. I looked at me trying to produce everything by myself, trying to make everything by myself, trying to get all these graphics and still find time to do enough research, do a lot of things, right? I try and produce a show that is worthy of the SFL, worthy for you, the viewer. I'm just unable to do that. And I'll fully admit I'm unable to do the show like I wanted to. And so, here's the different decision I'm making than the previous other times. I'm going to change up the format of the show a little bit. So for the first time, live on NETMA, you will see how I go about making my power rankings. I will do live power rankings. I'll talk about each and every show. The one thing I'm scrapping from the old segment is I'm not going to do a full recap of the last week. We've got a lot of great talking points. We can just talk about those. If you want to see what happened in the last game, you watch the highlights, you take a little bit of that. That took up 15 minutes of time that we can focus on the real issues. I want to get people involved in the show a lot more. I want more guests on this show. And sometimes I can't do a full hour show because I just haven't had enough time to prepare for it. And so I'm scrapping an hour-long show. At least an official hour-long show. So the show might be 20 to 30 minutes. It might be an hour. But I'm going to still try and keep it an hour because you guys, and frankly, nobody has time for an hour-long show in this day and age, let alone the host at the moment. Because I don't get paid to do this. I've done everything. Dave knows exactly what he's here. And hey, Dave. Hello, T. Hello, Justin. Hello, Ron Haynes. Hello, Marcus Dunhill. Marcus Candy's in here. All of you guys are in here. Again, I want to get a show out. So as long as you guys will support this show, I'll keep making shows whenever I can find the time to do so. And sometimes Wednesdays aren't going to work. Sometimes it might be a Tuesday show or a Thursday show. More than likely a Thursday show, just in case something what happened on Monday happens again. But we'll talk about that here in just a bit. And so another thing I want to say is I want to get back to having the tickers back on. I want to get that back going. But I'm not going to be able to do it by myself anymore. And so instead of me saying, I'm looking for this many people, I'm looking for a producer, I'm looking for a graphic maker, a content creator. If you guys have a talent, I'll put it to use. If you guys want to help make the show look good, maybe even come up with a whole new intro, maybe even come up with, some voice lines, maybe a sound bar. Maybe you want to be a producer. Tell me what you want to be. If you have a talent for something, I will make use of it. That's where that is. All right. Housekeeping out of the way. NETMA's back in action. Let's talk about the two main talking points I want to talk about tonight. This past weekend, we saw a couple of glitches. Has to be said. We saw a couple of glitches in the Matrix where the games themselves had to be adjusted ever so slightly. Had to get back on track. Now, there's a lot of mixed feelings about what had to have happened, what happened in general. There might have been a little bit of anger from a couple individuals regarding a couple different events. But here is the big thing I've always talked about for the show. We'll talk about the individual segments here in just a second. I've been considering this season more or less a beta season rather than it being a full fleshed out season for this new era. Because teams are figuring stuff out, the league's figuring stuff out, and we're gonna run it in to a few of these hiccups. These aren't these aren't league breaking, these aren't season breaking. This is the growing pains of a league that is going somewhere. The league is continuing to grow. And whereas at the beginning of the season, I didn't have I didn't think a decision was made correctly. I have to say, the way Cam and the way the teams and the way the league handled these two situations, Carolina, Florida, and Monday Night Spectacular, Arizona, and Portland. I think the way the league and the teams handled the situation was done well. It was followed up with instant communication between league and the teams, and then the league to the people as a whole, revealing as much detail, if not a little bit too much detail, into a lot of the different aspects that went on. So for those that missed it, let's quick recap what happened. Carolina driving against Florida. 7-1 Florida. Florida looking to hang on. They're down by a point or two. Carolina gets to inside the 5-yard line under 30 seconds to go, and the clock runs out, as Carolina still have a couple timeouts left to go. Anyone in the stands, anyone in the coaching staff, outside the sim, anyone with even a second played of football, both video game or IRL, would have known to call a timeout at least once during that time. And so the game expired. Time elapsed. Game over, because Carolina was not able to run a team based on the simulation. And so the league worked with both Florida's organization and Carolina's organization to say something happened here. Something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. That does not emulate true football. And while there can be comparisons to a certain Minnesota Viking team that, for one reason or the other, blamed the coaching headset and not his own mindset, even in that Vikings game, they ran a play under 20 seconds to go. Carolina was not able to do so. The league and the teams agreed Carolina should be given a chance to run a play. At least one. Ended up running a couple and ended up scoring a touchdown, which ended up giving them a much larger margin of victory than, could have been normal. So you could make the argument for that. But the way the teams handle it, the way that the league handled it, I thought was spot on. Now to the second issue. This one was, in my opinion, both issues were bound to happen at some point. It's good that it happened in the first season. Maybe not good for the teams that got impacted, but it's good that it happened so that now we know that we don't have to wait another 5 seasons before something like this happens, where people are saying, you guys have had this engine for years now. Why didn't you know about this? We know about it now. And the league is actively making changes to say, hey, Arizona, what happened to your special teams? Why did all of a sudden your playbook go from being right on the money to not only deleting the special teams playbook, but a bunch of other plays that we didn't see? So what happened there? Again, a random glitch happened when copying over playbooks. It's a massive lesson for coaching staffs and the league as a whole to go, this can happen. We can accidentally lose multiple sets, multiple plays out of formation if we do not make the proper choices, make the proper, go through the proper procedures to copy over a file. This is a technology issue. The ones and zeros didn't light up, and so the ones and zeros didn't add in to having the specific plays that Arizona would like to have called. Now, it was only the first quarter, and you could be saying that, this robbed Portland of, a point, and you have to think of what's going to happen. But both teams, and credit to Eddie, credit to Arizona, they got the exact same playbook in there that would have been in there had the special teams been added into the formation. So that all works out. The league is actively working, and we just had a post. We just had a post within the last what am I going to say? We had a post within the last hour about the situation in general. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up for you. I don't want that. Not that one. I want to go to this one. There we go. We had this press release opened up for from the league detailing all of this. And I won't go and read it word for word. You can read it in your own own discretion. If you want to know more about the league website is there, simulationfl.net. Link to the Discord is also in the also at the Simulation FL website. There's also a link to the Discord down in my description of this video, along with a link to the NETMA Discord server as well. We happily hope you join us. And since there's no, here's quick timeout. Since there's no people's presser, go ahead and put your show questions in. Either, I'd say go right here in chat. If you have a question about the show that you want me to have answered, go ahead and put it in the YouTube chat, and I'll just answer it as they come up. So, and if I miss your question, I'll try and get back to it, and we'll go from there. But, again, I won't read the entirety of the thing, but there's now been a new stipulation added into, if a game were to happen to freeze, and it reads, if the game is able to complete the process of the sim, then there is no recourse for objecting a finalized sim result. So, what that entails means is if it were to normally act like a normal football game-winning drive fails, we can go in and change things. Now, that will not change what happens at the end of the second half, I don't think. So sometimes you might, when we've seen it already this past season, we've seen what will happen during the past season, where second halves, all of a sudden you're running the football and the clock expires on you in the first half. The biggest thing I'm going to stress, right, about this in general, is until we get an engine, a simulation engine that allows for real-time communication for coaches to submit playbooks, not just playbooks, but individual plays, and to be able to call their own timeouts with a proper football engine, then we're at the mercy of some of these sims. And it has to go into game planning, and it's gone into game planning for every single team in the SFL. And so that is how the league is moving forward. Doug Day, good to have you here, Dougie. And Ethan has also jumped in here. Anyone else jump in saying hi? No, Ethan and Marcus and Dougie and Dave have all been chatting it up. Glad to have all of you alongside. But Doug's question, thoughts on the SFL and teams that were chosen. I joked Tuesday night on why Nashville was chosen. But again, it's the same colors as a certain Green Bay team that Cam likes. But I digress. I'm right here with Brett Solberg. Brett Solberg has been adamant about Pittsburgh getting a team, and I think the Menors are absolutely deserving of a team. Pittsburgh was my number one team to get to get into the minor leagues. They're in, and Pittsburgh has themselves a team. Chicago, led by Type Attack and Company from Seattle, now have a minor league team. The Chicago Warriors. Chicago gets another chance to have a favorable reputation. And with Type Attack and a bunch of other guys that have been in organizations for some time, both SFL, WAFL, and other leagues, this one has legs. Chicago has legs. Some other teams like San Jose gets to stay around. It's good to see a team that has been here, has developed a solid culture. They get a chance to continue their legacy. Albuquerque and that legacy gets to continue a very high caliber, championship caliber club. gets to continue. And I think every single one of these teams, there was, if my mind serves me correctly, 16 applicants, 10 finalists, and only 6 teams made it. 5-6 teams made it, besides the 2 that were announced earlier. I think we've got a lot of love for the SFL, and it just shows that people are hungry for franchises. And I mentioned it yesterday on the Tuesday night, the terrific Tuesday night spectacular, that this is a potential pathway now for SFLM teams to become expansion SFL teams with the right leadership, with the right direction, the right recognition. We can see any one of these 8 teams get a chance at the big time, at the SFL as a whole. So, with that, anyone else have any more questions before I move on? We talked a lot about what's going on, the changes that have happened in the league, especially the Week 10 stuff, but a lot of things have happened in the SFL since I've been gone, since I haven't been able to have a show. Let's take a short little look at that, shall we? So here is what the standings look like right now for the wild card. Divisionally, Central's a mess. The Central is a mess of a division right now. Minnesota has lost 4 straight. Okay, I want to quickly actually show you guys a look at that Central division. Okay, take a look at Tulsa, and then take a look at the other 3 teams. What's the one? I should say, what are the 2 things that stand out to you from Tulsa compared to the rest of the 3 teams? Tulsa is the only team right now with a win streak. But more importantly, Tulsa is the only one with a win on the road. Tulsa have 2 games at home and 2 games more on the road. Tulsa right now, in my opinion, is the front runner for the Central Division. Minnesota's got 4 more games and 3 of them on the road. They are 0-3. And for the legend, here's the remaining schedule, right? They're going to be in Fort Worth, tough ball game. They're going to be in Las Vegas. That might be a win. Then they play home versus Arizona, who have just played a tough game against who have just dominated Portland. And then Minnesota play Tulsa for what, in my opinion, will be the final, which will be the Central Division title on the line for that game. Meanwhile, you look at Tulsa. They play Indy. On the road in Indy. To start off. And they're back home versus Sioux Falls. On the road versus Houston. Of course, we talked about Minnesota. Houston's had a rough stretch. Sioux Falls, it's a division game. It's going to be tough. And then you got 2 division games back-to-back. 3 divisional games back-to-back-to-back, basically. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough for Tulsa. But right now, I think, in my opinion, they have a favorable schedule. So back to how the wild card looks after last night's game. Portland is out, according to tiebreakers here on SFL, simulationfl.net. I don't have the updated list from Cam after the Portland loss. But right now, they're out of the playoffs. They have a sub-500 record, which also gives Mexico City a little bit of hope there. But that's how teams line up. That's how the teams line up right now. Fort Worth, obviously your number 1 team. I think Seattle's a number 2 team. Seattle right now is hot. For Florida right now, they're 7-2. Back-to-back losses for the Storm. Right? They play in Detroit Sunday, in DC the following week, and then 2 weeks from now they'll play at home versus Louisiana. Now, they could easily slip up. If they continue to play the way they've been playing and leave games late like they did this past weekend, Florida could easily drop their last 3 games. Easily. The big key thing for Florida is to keep the faith, is to really solidify that defense, which teams have now found a way to go around it, to find a way to win. So, with that being said, I'm going to pull these stats over, or these standings over. For the first time, we're going to go into power rankings. Because again, I've missed a couple of weeks. So you're not, this is how they looked in week 8. I have not done a power ranking since then. But we're going to do them live. Looking at a couple of teams that have bounced around and have had issues. Here's the deal. We're gonna jump around because this is how I do it. This is how I would do my power rankings offline. Okay? So feel free to react as you see fit. Jacksonville losing 5 in a row with Mexico City playing very well as of late. Aztecs jump up for me. They're no longer the worst team in the league, and they deserve to get out of that number 27 spot. Okay, let's move around here. Atlanta has struggled, but have finally turned on their own. We have a lot of 3 and 5 teams, a couple 3 and 6 teams, right? Sioux Falls have lost their last 2 since I've done my last power ranking. Sioux Falls is going to drop. Okay. Vegas, again, they're 4 and 5, but they just didn't look good this past weekend. They just did not look good against I thought I called that game. Let's see. Let's go back to Vegas on that one. I gotta go Denver here in 24, followed by let's see, this is tough. Let's go Indy here because this is tough. Indy's got a lot to prove. Played tough against Alamo City. And that shows a lot from them, but I can't see them being higher than this in the moment. I think this is where Las Vegas goes. They have a lot to prove for me. 4 and 5, losing 1 rather with a whimper for me. I think Vegas are just going to stick around there. Let's go. I'd have won 2 straight. Queen City have won. They won this past weekend, beating. No, it wasn't Canton. Or was it Canton? No, Canton won as well. I'm trying to remember. Answers on a postcard. Let's see. All right, let's get to some more here. Charleston. You know what, Vegas, you'll bump up a spot. I'm going to move Charleston down. Preds can't catch a break, man. Preds cannot catch a break. Let's go. See, this is tough because I'm doing it live. I'm doing it live in front of everybody. And I'm not hearing too much yelling at me just yet. Let's just get it out of the way. Happy now. Florida don't look good right now. Florida don't look good right now. I am gonna go I'm gonna go out. I'm still gonna keep Alamo City at 2, Seattle at 4. I want to see Week 14 with Fort Worth and Alamo City. Arizona's still looking strong. Portland at 6. That's in hindsight, that's a mistake now. I'm gonna go Baltimore at 5. Florida's gonna be 6. My preseason favorites. My preseason favorites just haven't really panned out. Vancouver really hasn't panned out. San Diego's flip flop floundering at the moment. Man, where does everybody go from here? DC's at 4-4. Can's 5-3. But I am gonna go. I gotta go. Like, no. See. Ay. This is difficult, and it takes me this long off air too. What happened to Houston? Where is Houston nowadays? Yeah, they're 4-4. Losing one. Carolina just pulled off a big win. I'll go Carolina. Then I'll go DC. No, I gotta go Louisiana then DC on that. DC and that offense looks pretty good. Even though they lost this past weekend. Right? Lost to Atlanta. Atlanta's on the charge. And for now, I'm going to put Atlanta here at 16. It's a massive jump from where they were a few weeks ago. Here, got DC in there. I think Vancouver's going to go here. Vancouver's going to go there. Tulsa over or under Vegas? That's a great question. Because both offenses are pretty interesting. Some Minnesota happiness is going on right now at Target Field. Just plugging that in there right now. Let's see. I think Queen City goes there. Let's see what else we got. Baltimore charging. Baltimore 6-3. I've got them up there. We're good. I think that's where we put Canton. Canton for now is in the playoff spots here. Oh, Denver's fallen off a cliff. Unfortunately, Denver's goes there. LA's got to go there. Where else? Who do we got? Houston 4-4. Not surging. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there with Tulsa. No, here. Because I said Tulsa is going to be better. So I'm going to go Minnesota here. No, that's wrong. Tulsa there. Minnesota there. That team there. Houston there. And I'm missing one. Jacksonville, I've got Indy, I've got Tulsa, I've got Mexico City, I've got Jacksonville, Las Vegas, Charleston, Sioux Falls, Queen City, Canton is up there, Houston's up there, LA's there, Denver's down, Baltimore's up, that team's there, that team's there, that team's there, that team's there, San Diego. That's who I'm missing. Okay. That's That's the Week 11 Power Rankings done live. I'm missing 2. Missing 2. Who am I missing? Have I got a team twice? Oh, shoot. We got Portland. All right. Who am I? Okay. Okay. I got a team twice. This is why I need you guys. All right. Jacksonville, Motor City, Sioux Falls, Denver, Indy, Charleston, Las Vegas, Queen City, Denver, LA, Atlanta, Minnesota, Tulsa. Tulsa twice? No. Houston. I got Denver twice. Okay. That's right. Okay. That's an easy change, I think. There we go. Vancouver's got a better offense than Portland. That's the power rankings. Eddie Gage chimed in with what's my opinion of the league electing to stick 27 teams next season. Just proves that Pickler wasn't serious about leaving San Diego. Sounds like San Diego got to Pickler, and Team 27 is gonna, or Team 28 is gonna likely come from one of the newly formed SFLM ownership groups. Not saying that Pickler wasn't serious about getting his own team, but knowing that situation a lot more in depth than most people, he was handed a pretty tough situation, and the thing for me is, I think it's the right move as the team looks to try and find another organization to move to 28 next season. Hopefully, in 2 seasons, I should say. We'll see what happens. But it's too soon to get a 28th team from one of these SFLM groups. So I think in season 23, we might see one of the ownership groups or 5 of the ownership groups make a step up. But for now, it's the right decision. It's frankly the only decision that the league could have had. So while it's not aesthetically pleasing from a numbers point of view, unfortunately, it's the right call. Okay. Just click the drop down. Unfortunately, I don't have checksums, so I have every single team. And the reason why I don't click the drop down is because it'll automatically fill in. I have it set so it'll automatically fill in James Walters. But I mean that's how it works in my head. If you're a lot better with Google Sheets, I'm still learning Google Sheets. So if you have something better to help me out with Google Sheets, I'd very much appreciate your input. Let's see. So what do we think? A decent power ranking. Did I miss any questions? I'm scrolling up now to see if I missed anybody. Chosen's here. TJ Harper is here. James Walters, of course, just jumped in. Bridge City Bird jumped in. So thank you all for jumping in, saying hi, and talking. Let's see. SFL moving to Axis Football 24 and 24. Probably not. We'll see. Love seeing Art and Frank get their franchises. Yep, I agree. Okay. Bridge City Bird's question. I asked this to Eddie and Chad earlier, so he'll ask this to me. Who statistically has disappointed you at this point of the season? Easily San Diego. Now there's a lot of talk. Oh, they have Mike O'Neill, and Mike O'Neill knows so much about the sim. They're going to be unstoppable this time around. Unfortunately, this hasn't been the case, and they're sitting below 500 right now. Just haven't been able to find the magic, find the spark. And while Pickler hasn't had too many interceptions, it's timely. And that's what we've seen a lot more here in this new age SFL is timely interceptions, not a explosion of interceptions like we saw in the last in previous seasons. So that's where it sits. That's my opinion. San Diego is the most disappointing team statistically for me. Portland are hamstrung with Ezekiel Love and just not having the strongest of receiving cores for Jive to throw to, making them forced to go more to a run-heavy style of offense. Still 4 games to go here in the regular season of the SFL. So we'll wrap it up here as we get closer here to the 40th minute mark. Thank you so much for sticking around here in a new look, more of a retro look for NETMA. So let's go ahead and make some predictions. Let's talk about who I think is going to win each game for this upcoming week 11. 4 weeks to go in the final slate of regular season. Atlanta and Canton. Canton is just won last week. Atlanta's on a winning streak right now. They look hot. I think Atlanta will take down Canton in that contest. Charleston, Louisiana. That ball game, I think, goes to Louisiana. Better offense, stifling defense. Vancouver and San Diego, it's put up or shut up for both teams. Vancouver's going to win on the road. Seattle, Denver. Denver, unfortunately, will give Seattle a victory. And as things look right now, I wouldn't claim anything just yet, but Seattle would really take control of their own destiny with a win this coming weekend against Denver. Saturday's games, Minnesota, Fort Worth. I've got Fort Worth in that ball game. It's a downward spiral for them Sasquatches. Tulsa, Indy. Tulsa's hot. Indy's at home. I'm going upset with Indy here in this one. Indy's look good at home as of late. That's where I'm going with that one. Houston, Alamo City. Alamo City is strong. Houston's lost a couple of tight ball games. I think this is a rematch from earlier in the season. This is at home for Alamo City. I think Alamo City takes the victory as they look for a duel in Fort Worth for the Tex-Mex division. Queen City, Baltimore. Unfortunately for Queen City and their rebuild, Baltimore is. I predicted them to go 9-3. Win number 7 comes against Queen City. Florida and the team in Detroit. I've got Florida in that one. That's an easy pick for me, based on talent and talent alone. Mexico City, Los Angeles, a battle for what could be maybe a long shot at a playoff spot for Los Angeles. Mexico City trying to play spoiler. Maybe they found something clicking. I'm gonna go Lycans in that one though. I'm gonna go Lycans in that one. And then the Monday Night Spectacular, DC and Jacksonville. DC's got to have this game, and so I'm going DC in that game. That's my predictions for this week as we wrap up shop here on another Monday night. Or on another Wednesday night. What am I talking about anymore? It'll wrap up stuff on Monday night, but it won't wrap up stuff for everything else. So that's gonna do it here in another edition of the program, otherwise known as NETMA. Again, show's gonna look a lot more like this because of everything I talked about earlier. If you want to listen back to the show, this will be live here this will be back on YouTube. You can watch the full playback or whatever spots you missed. Link to the NETMA Discord, SFL Discord is down below. Hope you join us and join the conversation that way. If you wanted to get involved with the league, simulationfl.net is the way to go, and we'll see you over in the league. We'll see you next week, probably on Thursday. So until then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.